The GOAT, the greatest of all time. First time MVP, Michael Jordan is one of the most celebrated athletes ever. And for good reason too, as MJ played 15 seasons in the NBA, leading the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships, where his career and lifestyle caught the attention of shoeheads at Nike. The GOAT signed a contract and the rest is history. But better than that, MJ has been known to be a massive gearhead, owning some of the coolest and rarest cars to roam the planet. In this video, I'm gonna break down some of his Ernest's coolest rides, as he has a car collection worth north of $5 million. Yeah, 5 mil. So if you're new here, I'm YouTube girlfriend. This is ideal, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because we're coming out with new content every other day. Let's go!
Wait, is this recording? Well, if it is, I want to introduce today's sponsor, Surfshark. See, Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy easy and affordable for guys like you and me. And if you're on the internet, you should always be using a VPN. It gives you the privacy to browse the internet to your heart's content. And I love that it protects ads, malware, and protects you from phishing attacks as well. Plus, if you like to Netflix, well, it's a game changer. Because without the Surfshark VPN, I was missing out on a ton of shows, since Netflix has 15 libraries around the world, and I was only getting one. So, I wasn't getting access to all the best shows. Also, Surfshark works on any device, including phones, laptops, and even your console. Plus, with the 30-day money-back guarantee, if you don't like it, it's no big deal. But I bet you're gonna. So sign up using surfshark.deals/ideal and enter promo code IDEAL to get an 83% discount and an extra 4 months for free. I'll link to it in the description and the first comment. And thanks for supporting the sponsors that support us. Now back to number 23, baby.
The year was 1984, and MJ was lacing up for the first time as a 21-year-old rookie when he received his first endorsement deal from a local Chicago Chevrolet dealer. For doing some commercials, they gave him a new Corvette. Pretty sweet, right? Powered by a new 5.7-liter big bad boy V8. The Corvette was newly faster, sharper, and leaner than its older brother. And the Jumpman was one of the first people to get the new Corvette. But thanks to the A-Team, the C4 had already been given global recognition. Regardless of recognition, MJ's C4 vet was unmistakable, proudly wearing an Illinois plate supporting Jump 23 and rivaling the royalty of the A-Team's vet. But it didn't take long for MJ to level up his game and his cars. After a few years in the league, he was able to afford the top-of-the-line Porsche 930 Turbo Cabriolet. And his was spec'd in one of the coolest shades of white. The 930 Turbo was essentially the road-going version of the badass 935 race car. Jordan's version chopped the top and upped the cool factor. MJ liked his car so much that he even designed the Air Jordan 6 after the car. Taking designs from the whale tail and incorporating it into the heel tab of the 6s, something about the pop-up headlights and a timeless design like the 930 really makes this car fit for collections. Pair that with one of the best plates fitted to any car. His 930 Turbo Cab was fitted with MJ, proving that not only his taste in cars is great, but also his choice of license plates. And his Ferrari 512 TR also proved that fact, wearing the plate M Air J. MJ gifted himself this ferocious Ferrari after winning his first championship with the Bulls in 1991. But instead of getting it in Rosso Red, he matched his suits in his favorite shade of black. Imagine being able to spec out your cars to match your outfits. Well, that's what I did, and you can check out those clothes right up here. Unlike our ideal cars, MJ's 512 TR has 12 cylinders, firing away just inches behind Air Jordan's neck. But if you think MJ only had one Ferrari, you'd be wrong, because he also owned a Ferrari 550 Maranello. Like the 512 TR, the 550 Maranello also was powered by a big bad V12. But this one is in the front, and it comes with about 60 more horsepower. His Ernest not only liked the V12 up front, but also the timeless design. He incorporated many elements from the 550 Maranello to create the Air Jordan 14 trainer, like the breathable air ducts and the Jumpman shield design. And unlike his first Ferrari in black, he did it right in red on the second go-around. But on his third Ferrari, he went away from red. His Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano was gray. Interesting choice. MJ's 599 proved that he was a fan of the front engine V12. And while the red lipstick paint from the 550 was gone, his 599 still did have some red in it, in the interior. Spec to the nines, his 599 is one of the coolest Ferraris on the road. But is it as cool as his Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren 722? This cool as hell supercar might have 4 less cylinders than the 599, but it's way more rare. While there were just over 2,100 SLR McLarens produced worldwide, the Jumpman was lucky enough to own a much more special and limited version of the SLR. 722 editions were built to honor Sterling Moss's victory in the 1995 Mille Miglia in his 300 SLR. Moss ran with the number 722 and hence MJ needed one too. Now I mentioned that the 722 edition was rare, but how rare, you ask? Only 150 of these cars left the factory. So you're lucky if you ever get to see one of these. But chances are that you will never get to a Bugatti Veyron, especially a special edition Sang-Noir version that the GOAT was rumored to once own. The Bugatti Veyron itself is very limited, but only 12 lucky customers were able to own a Sang-Noir edition. The Sang-Noir, or Black Blood, was inspired by the Veyron's ancestors in the Type 57S Atlantique, and both cars are collector unicorns fetching millions of dollars each time they trade hands. The new age of the Bugatti is all about speed, as it'll hit 60 in 2.5 seconds. With a top speed of over 250 miles per hour, this legendary piece of machinery is definitely one of the GOATs. 1998 was the second time Jordan quit basketball. Yeah, it was a sad day. But that was probably to spend more time enjoying his brand new range-topping 993 Turbo S. He also matched it to his collection of Bulls jerseys in bright red. But better than the spec was the license plate, Air. Talk about a slam dunk. When he returned to the NBA, he also stayed on brand and returned with another Porsche. But this time, it was a GT3 RS 4.0. The 997, we wish the peanut was. Air Jordan makes sure when he is out, he makes a statement. And part of that statement comes from the cars he arrives in, as he didn't go out and buy a GT3 or even a standard GT3 RS. Instead, the 4.0 takes the 3RS to a whole nother level. Adding in 0.2 liters, you just assume that the block was bored out. But again, you'd be wrong, because the 4.0 shares its block, crank, and titanium rods with Porsche's 911 GT3R and RSR race cars. MJ also needed to round out his collection of 911s, so he paired his GT3 RS 4.0 with a GT2 RS. The 997 GT2 RS was the modern day Widowmaker. Porsche put aero from their race cars and the engine from the beastly 911 Turbo to create this wicked masterpiece. The GT2 RS lapped the green hell in a terrifying 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Nearly a minute faster than the GT3, despite the GT3 having a bigger engine. So the 2RS is made to tackle the track. But what about the road? His Airness owned another rare Porsche, one made to tackle the streets, a legendary Carrera GT. Sure, it might be at home on the track, but the CGT is really known for its killer exhaust note, known to be one of, if not the best sounding car on this earth. Only the best for the GOAT, powered by a high-revving F1-derived V10, powered by 3 aluminum pedals and just 2 feet, even if they are size 13 in MJ's case. But the punch of the CGT is anything but small. But what about his brand new 2021 Toyota Camry? Maybe 300 horsepower, right? Not MJ's. His is a little bit more powerful. Okay, maybe a lot more powerful. His Toyota Camry has 670 horsepower, and it competes in NASCAR. Wearing the number 23, of course, Jordan has started his own NASCAR team with Bubba Wallace as his driver. Bubba Wallace is one of the best African-American drivers of all time, and currently the only driver of color. MJ has voiced that he grew up going to NASCAR races and that he saw a lack of diversity in the sport, and he wants to change that. So he decided to be the one to start his own team, and in their rookie season, even took their car to victory lane at Talladega Superspeedway. Money has bought Jordan a bunch of cars, but with his fame, he has been gifted a lot too. Just like his next car, a Corvette ZR1 40th anniversary. 1993 was the 40th anniversary of the Corvette, and to celebrate, they made it a special edition commemorating the moniker. Just 224 were made, and they were all produced in a special ruby red paint. But just 4 years later, Superman was gifted another present from Chevy, a C5 Corvette. These are some nice gifts. 1997 was the first year of the C5 generation of Vette, and his Airness was one of the first ever to roll up to practice in Chevy's newest Vette. It's a proud tradition. Chevy gave Corvettes to the Apollo astronauts, Super Bowl MVPs, and of course, history's greatest basketball player. While Captain Marvel is obviously biased towards the Chevys, he was rumored to own one of the coolest Fords too, the first generation Ford GT. Built to commemorate the history of Ford taking on Ferrari in Le Mans, Ford had a slam dunk on its hands. They powered it with a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 that moved like one of MJ's fast brakes, and its thunderous exhaust sounds like the roar of the crowds when Air Jordan went all Superman on his opponents. The Ford GT had supercar rivaling performance, but the price of a Ford, which worked out well for the mega athlete. But he was on no budget, and his Mercedes SLS AMG proved just that. Years after letting go of his exquisite SLR 722, Mr. June decided to return back to the moniker, wanting more style and class in his ride. As he has been rumored to have owned an SLS AMG with gobs of power up front, the SLS AMG proved to be a proper chariot for self-proclaimed Black Jesus. But so did his Mercedes W140 S600 Coupe that he had modified by Lorzener. Air decided that even the top-of-the-line Mercedes S-Class wouldn't do it. He had it sent over to famous Benz tuner Lorenzer, where his S600 got fitted with a custom wide-body kit, chrome 18-inch wheels, and a custom exhaust to really set MJ's car apart from every other S-Class out there. But when he was done with his S-Class, he moved on up in the world and got himself an Aston Martin DB7 Volante. After hanging up his boots, Air Jordan became a part owner and president of the Washington Wizards NBA team in January 2000. But with having all this responsibility, his airness decided that he needed a responsible car, an Aston. So he went out and bought a Renault red Aston Martin DB7 Volante to suit his fancy. But instead of using it to go to work for corporate, he suited up for his own team, driving his DB7 Volante to and from practice, until he bought a newer DB9 Volante. And Aston is a very sophisticated car. Once his DB7 was gone, he replaced it with a DB9, a silver DB9. While the DB9 didn't directly influence the shoe design, his Bentley Continental GT sure did. Loving the luxury, Black Cat took inspiration from his Bentley to design the Air Jordan 21, using the diamond quilting and leathers from the interior to complete one of MJ's best shoes. And while the shoes sold like hotcakes, the last car on this list did anything but that. The Cadillac XLR-V was a sales flop. So in order to sell more units, Cadillac sent a transporter over to his Airness's pad full of these Cadillac XLR-Vs. Jumpman was able to choose his favorite color, and you guessed it, MJ chose red. And while that timeless design looks like it belongs on a cruiser, the V version added horsepower and a supercharger to its 4.4-liter Northstar V8. So it has got the best of both worlds. To this day, Mike makes money moves behind our backs, buying cars, designing shoes, and really proving what it means to be the greatest of all time. So what is MJ's best car? I'd have to walk out with that Bugatti. But which one would you choose? Let us know down below in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, keep living the ideal lifestyle.